The world has been shaped by the incredible talents of legendary gay stars, whose contributions to global culture continue to resonate today. But did you know that Pedro Zamora, Freddie Mercury, and Brad Davis all share a poignant connection? These iconic figures, along with many others, tragically lost their lives to AIDS, a disease that took so many before their time. In this journey, we'll explore the lives of 25 remarkable stars whose legacies were forever altered by AIDS. Their stories of resilience, creativity, and love, often in the face of unimaginable adversity, continue to inspire and remind us of the lasting impact they had on the world. From activists to artists, these individuals shaped the course of history, leaving behind legacies that transcend their untimely deaths. Let's honor their memories by delving into their lives and the profound influence they still have on culture today. Freddie Mercury, the charismatic frontman of Queen, was not just an iconic musician, but also a force of nature in the world of rock music. Born in Zanzibar, his path to stardom was as dynamic and vivid as his on-stage persona. With a voice that spanned 4 octaves and a magnetic, daring stage presence, he won over audiences across the globe. Mercury's personal life often attracted curiosity and speculation. While he never openly addressed his sexuality, those close to him knew he was gay. He had several significant relationships, including one with Mary Austin, whom he regarded as his true soulmate, despite their romantic relationship coming to an end in 1987. In 1991, Freddie Mercury was diagnosed with HIV, a condition he chose to keep private while continuing to create music and live life on his own terms. His final relationship was with Jim Hutton, a hairdresser who stood by his side until the end. During his last years, Mercury remained intensely focused on his work, contributing to Queen's albums, including Innuendo, released in 1991. His final appearance in front of a camera was for the music video of "These Are the Days of Our Lives," where he looked frail but still radiated his characteristic vitality. On November 23, 1991, Mercury publicly acknowledged he had AIDS, and the following day, on November 24th, he passed away from complications related to the disease. The loss was felt deeply across the music world, but his legacy endures. In 1992, the Mercury Phoenix Trust was founded to raise awareness and fight AIDS globally in his honor. Wade Dominguez was an emerging name in Hollywood, rising to recognition thanks to a combination of talent and serendipity. Born on May 10, 1966, in Santa Clara County, California, Dominguez had a mixed heritage of Mexican and French descent, contributing to his unique and striking appearance, which later became an asset in his acting career. Before stepping into the limelight, he worked as a go-go dancer in nightclubs, a humble beginning that allowed him to cultivate his passion for dance and performance. Dominguez's breakthrough came in 1995 with his role in Dangerous Minds, where he portrayed Emilio Ramirez, a tough but vulnerable student who undergoes a life-changing transformation under the mentorship of Michelle Pfeiffer's character. His performance was both raw and relatable, earning him recognition from both critics and audiences. After Dangerous Minds, Dominguez continued to build his acting portfolio, taking on roles in films like City of Industry, The Taxman, and Shadow of Doubt. Each part demonstrated his versatility as an actor and hinted at a bright future in Hollywood. Behind the fame and spotlight, Wade Dominguez was silently confronting a devastating battle with AIDS, a struggle he kept private from the public eye. His diagnosis was a closely guarded secret, and he chose to focus on his work rather than share his personal hardship. Tragically, on August 26, 1998, at the age of 32, Dominguez passed away from respiratory failure caused by complications of AIDS. His death came as a shock to the industry, As his health issues had been largely unknown, one of the most touching moments of his final days was when his close friend and Dangerous Minds co-star, Elizabeth Berkley, visited him in the hospital. She brought him a cut of his final film, The Taxman. As he watched himself on screen, moved by the performance, Dominguez was brought to tears, softly saying, "I'm so good. I'm so good." It was a poignant and bittersweet moment, a final affirmation of his incredible talent, as well as a tragic reminder of a life taken too soon. Liberace, born Władysław Liberace in 1919 in West Allis, Wisconsin, earned the nickname Mr. Showmanship for his larger-than-life performances, becoming one of the most beloved entertainers of his time. Growing up in a family of Italian and Polish immigrants, Liberace showed a remarkable musical talent from a young age. He was playing classical music at just 4 years old. However, it was his extravagant performance style, characterized by lavish costumes, dazzling stage presence, and the iconic candelabra on his piano, that truly cemented his status as a showbiz legend. Liberace's career soared in the 1950s with The Liberace Show, where he dazzled audiences with extravagant performances, opulent costumes, and his signature candelabras on the piano. His captivating stage presence and the slogan, "I don't play the piano, I play the show," perfectly captured the essence of his style. Despite his flamboyant public persona, Liberace consistently denied being gay throughout his life. When rumors about his sexuality began to circulate in gossip magazines, he took legal action to protect his image. In 1956, he successfully sued the British newspaper Daily Mirror for publishing false claims about his sexual orientation, vehemently asserting that he was not gay and had never engaged in homosexual acts. However, Liberace's private life painted a different picture. He had lived with Scott Thorson, his chauffeur and alleged lover, for 5 years. Their relationship ended in a highly publicized and dramatic lawsuit in 1982, when Thorson sought $113 million in damages. The case was eventually settled out of court for $95,000. As the AIDS epidemic spread through the 1980s, Liberace's health began to deteriorate. Despite his increasingly frail and tired appearance, he continued to deny any connection to the disease, instead claiming that his health issues were due to following a strict watermelon diet. Liberace gave his final performance on November 2, 1986, at Radio City Music Hall in New York. Just a few months later, on February 4, 1987, he passed away at his home in Palm Springs, California. Initially, his personal doctor attributed his death to heart failure, but the truth soon came to light. After an autopsy, Riverside County coroner Dr. Raymond Chillo confirmed that Liberace had died from pneumonia, a complication of AIDS. Willi Smith was a visionary designer who transformed the fashion world with his unique approach. Born in Philadelphia in 1948, he infused the industry with a fresh, urban perspective, earning the title of Father of Streetwear. His journey began at the esteemed Parsons School of Design, though his time there was cut short when he was expelled due to a romantic relationship with a male student. Undaunted, Smith gained valuable experience in various roles within the fashion industry before founding his own brand, Willi Wear, in 1976. His designs were a game-changer, blending the ease and comfort of sportswear with the elegance of high fashion, making style both accessible and inclusive. Smith's vision was to ensure that fashion was not reserved for the elite, but could be enjoyed by everyone, regardless of background or status. Willi Smith's design philosophy was both simple and profound. "I don't design clothes for the queen, but for the people who wave at her as she passes by." This approach spoke to his deep commitment to making fashion accessible to all, In 1981, Smith met Lan Barker, who would become both his life partner and business partner. Together, they propelled Willi Ware to new heights, and by the mid-1980s, the company was generating over $25 million in annual revenue. Smith's influence extended beyond fashion, as he collaborated with artists, dancers, and filmmakers, blending fashion with other forms of art. He even designed the wedding dress for Mary Jane Watson in the Spider-Man comics, further cementing his cultural impact. Sadly, Smith's promising career was cut short when Lan Barker passed away in 1986 from AIDS-related cancer. Just months later, Smith's own health began to decline rapidly. He was hospitalized for shingles and other AIDS-related complications, and his death followed soon after. Despite his untimely passing, Willi Smith's legacy as a pioneer of streetwear and his lasting impact on fashion and popular culture endures. Willi Smith passed away on April 17, 1987, at the age of 39. While many speculated that AIDS was the primary cause of his death, his company honored his wishes by keeping the specifics of his illness private. Smith's legacy continues to resonate in the very foundation of modern streetwear and in the hearts of those who knew him. Reflecting on his identity and design sensibility, Smith once said, "Being black has had a huge influence on me becoming a good designer. My eye will quickly notice what a well-dressed person is wearing over noticing someone in a gray suit and tie." His unique perspective and contributions to fashion remain an enduring influence on the industry. Denholm Elliott was an actor whose name may not immediately ring a bell, but his face is one that many will recognize. Born in London in 1922, Elliott had a remarkable career, appearing in over 125 films and television shows. He was known for playing quirky, endearing characters, often bringing charm and humor to his roles with just the right touch. Whether it was a well-timed raised eyebrow or a perfectly delivered line. However, Elliott's path to becoming an actor wasn't a conventional one. His journey to stardom involved several twists and turns before he found his true calling on the stage and screen. Denholm Elliott served in the Royal Air Force during World War II, where he was captured and spent 3 years as a prisoner of war. After the war, he discovered his passion for acting and quickly became one of Britain's most dependable and versatile actors. Elliott is perhaps best known for his iconic roles as Marcus Brody in the Indiana Jones films, Coleman in Trading Places, and Mr. Emerson in A Room with a View. In his personal life, Elliott was married twice and had 2 children, though he also identified as bisexual, a fact he kept largely private for most of his life. In 1987, at the age of 65, Elliott was diagnosed with HIV. Despite this, he continued his acting career, appearing in several notable films and TV shows in the late 1980s and early 1990s, including Noble House and Toy Soldiers. His final on-screen appearance came in 1992 with the film Noises Off. On October 6, 1992, Denholm Elliott passed away at the age of 70 at his home on the island of Ibiza, Spain, from tuberculosis related to AIDS. His death was met with shock and sorrow across the British acting community, as colleagues and fans alike mourned the loss of a beloved and talented actor. Elliott's contributions to British cinema had been immense, and his ability to bring charm, humor, and depth to his roles had left a lasting impression. In honor of his legacy, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, BAFTA, established the Denholm Elliott Award, which is presented to promising young actors. This award ensures that Elliott's influence and legacy continue to inspire future generations of performers, keeping his memory alive in the world of British cinema. Robert Reed, best known for his portrayal of Mike Brady in the beloved sitcom The Brady Bunch, led a life far more complicated than the picture-perfect father he played on screen. Born John Robert Wrights Jr. in 1932, Reed's path to fame was filled with unexpected twists that mirrored the many adventures of the Brady family. His acting career began on the stage, where he honed his craft in various plays before moving to Hollywood in the early 1960s. After appearing in a number of television shows, Reed landed the iconic role of Mike Brady. As the wise, caring father of the Brady clan, he became a beloved figure across America, offering guidance and solving family problems with a warm smile and well-timed advice. Behind the scenes, however, Robert Reed was facing personal struggles that contrasted sharply with the wholesome image of Mike Brady. In 1954, he married Marilyn Rosenberger, and they had a daughter named Karen, but their marriage ended in divorce after just 5 years. During this period, Reed confided in Marilyn about his homosexuality. Despite this openness with her, he chose to keep his sexuality private, fearing that coming out could harm his career, especially during the 1960s, a time when Hollywood was far from accepting of the LGBTQ+ community. While working on the Brady Bunch, Reed became known for his perfectionism, frequently clashing with the show's producers over script quality and plot details. He took his role as a father on the show very seriously, both in his portrayal of Mike Brady and in his personal interactions with the cast. The adopted children on the series often spoke about how Reed would take them on outings to cultural sites, broadening their horizons beyond the confines of the set and providing them with valuable life experiences. In 1991, Robert Reed received a devastating diagnosis: colon cancer. As he fought this illness, another health issue came to light. His medical records revealed that he had been infected with HIV, though the exact time of contraction remains unclear. On May 12, 1992, at the age of 59, Reed passed away. Although his death certificate listed colon cancer as the primary cause, it is widely believed that complications related to HIV played a significant role. His passing shocked both fans and colleagues alike. Florence Henderson, who played his on-screen wife, Carol Brady, poignantly remarked, "Bob was a family man, and we will all miss him." The posthumous revelation of Reed's HIV status ignited crucial conversations about the stigma and secrecy surrounding the LGBTQ+ community, particularly within the entertainment industry during that time. Ed Koch, the iconic mayor of New York City from 1978 to 1989, was a figure who evoked both intense loyalty and sharp criticism. Famous for his signature catchphrase, "How am I doing?" Koch infused City Hall with a unique, dynamic energy that captured the spirit of 1980s New York. Born in 1924 in the Bronx, his path to becoming mayor was as colorful and vibrant as the city he would come to lead. Koch served in World War II, became a lawyer, and eventually entered politics, first serving as a congressman before winning the mayoral election in 1977. He took office during a tumultuous period for New York City, which was grappling with a severe financial crisis, high crime rates, and widespread urban decay. Koch is credited with stabilizing the city's finances and driving its economic recovery, making notable progress in revitalizing its infrastructure and public services. One of the most controversial aspects of Ed Koch's legacy was his handling of the AIDS crisis. As the disease ravaged New York's gay community in the early 1980s, many activists criticized Koch for not responding with sufficient urgency. Larry Kramer, a prominent AIDS activist, famously referred to Koch as a bad man who caused gay men to die. The criticism was compounded by persistent rumors about Koch's own sexuality. Though he never publicly identified as gay, he consistently maintained that his private life was his own business. It wasn't until after his death in 2013 that longtime friend and journalist Charles Kaiser revealed that Koch was, in fact, gay. Kaiser explained that Koch did not harbor self-hatred, but belonged to a generation that did not openly discuss such matters. Despite these controversies, Koch's time as mayor was marked by significant achievements, particularly in improving the city's infrastructure, crime rates, and finances. As a congressman, Ed Koch introduced the first version of an anti-discrimination law in employment, which later became the Labor Discrimination Act. As mayor, he also implemented measures prohibiting discrimination against gay individuals in both employment and housing within the city. Koch's relationship with the gay community was complex throughout his life. He expressed regret for not doing more during the AIDS crisis, yet defended his record by pointing to the increased funding for AIDS research and care that occurred under his administration. After leaving office, Koch remained a prominent public figure, writing books, hosting a radio show, and even serving as a judge on the People's Court. He passed away on February 1, 2013, at the age of 88, leaving behind a complicated legacy that continues to provoke debate in New York and beyond. Roy Cohn, a deeply controversial figure even after his death, was a powerful and influential personality in mid-20th century American politics. Born in 1927 in New York to a wealthy Jewish family with significant political connections, Cohn first gained national prominence as chief counsel during the McCarthy hearings in the 1950s. He played a central role in prosecuting suspected communists, most notoriously in the case of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, whose execution he helped bring about. Cohn was also heavily involved in the Lavender Scare, a campaign aimed at purging gay individuals from the U.S. government, which remains a troubling aspect of his legacy. Roy Cohn convinced President Eisenhower to implement a ban on gay individuals working in the federal government, arguing that they could be blackmailed into revealing national secrets. The irony of Cohn's involvement in this purge was striking, especially considering the persistent rumors about his own sexuality, including a rumored relationship with David Schein, his chief counsel during the McCarthy era. Despite these rumors, Cohn consistently denied being gay. Later in his career, Cohn became a private attorney, representing high-profile clients such as Donald Trump, Rupert Murdoch, and various mafia figures. In 1984, Cohn was diagnosed with HIV, but worked hard to keep this information private, instead publicly claiming that he was suffering from liver cancer. On August 2, 1986, Roy Cohn died at the age of 59, without ever publicly acknowledging his sexuality or his HIV status. Brad Davis, one of Hollywood's rising stars in the 1970s, led a life that mirrored the tragic roles he often played on screen. Born Robert Creel Davis in 1949 in Tallahassee, Florida, he grew up in a tumultuous environment marked by an alcoholic father and the divorce of his parents. Despite these challenges, Davis found solace in acting and moved to New York City as a young man to study at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. His breakthrough role came in 1978 when he portrayed Billy Hayes in Midnight Express, the story of an American student imprisoned in Turkey for drug trafficking. His powerful performance earned him a Golden Globe Award, marking the beginning of his rise in the entertainment world. Brad Davis continued to take on complex roles, often portraying characters grappling with controversial issues. In The Boys in the Band, he played a sailor exploring his sexual orientation, a role that helped solidify his reputation as a gay icon. Despite this, Davis's personal life remained shrouded in mystery. He was married to Susan Blinn for 15 years, and they had a daughter together. Friends and family consistently denied rumors about his sexuality, insisting that his on-screen portrayals were purely professional. Behind the scenes, however, Davis struggled with addiction, which ultimately led to him contracting HIV in 1985. during a time when AIDS was still poorly understood and heavily stigmatized. Brad Davis kept his HIV diagnosis private for 6 years, revealing it only to his closest friends. During this period, he continued to work, appearing in television shows and films while undergoing experimental treatments. However, his health deteriorated rapidly, and on September 8, 1991, at the age of 41, Davis passed away. One of the most controversial decisions he made was to end his life through assisted suicide, a choice believed to have been made to spare his family from witnessing his physical decline and to avoid the stigma surrounding AIDS at the time. After his death, his wife, Susan Blinn Davis, published a book about his life, offering insight into the private struggles he endured in his final years. Rudolf Nureyev was more than just a dancer. He was a phenomenon who revolutionized the world of ballet. Born on a Siberian train near Ufa, Russia, in 1938, Nureyev had a difficult and impoverished childhood. Despite these challenges, his passion for ballet was evident from an early age. He joined a folk dance group at 11 and later studied at the prestigious Vaganova Ballet Academy in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg. Nureyev's undeniable talent quickly became apparent, but it was his daring decision to defect from the Soviet Union in 1961 that catapulted him to international fame during the height of the Cold War. While touring with the Kirov Ballet in Paris, Nureyev made the bold decision to seek asylum, a move that not only changed the course of his life, but also carried significant political implications. His career skyrocketed as he partnered with prima ballerina dame Margot Fonteyn, forming one of the most iconic dance partnerships in history. Their performances in timeless works like Romeo and Juliet and Swan Lake became legendary. But Nureyev was not content merely with performing. He sought to reshape ballet, challenging traditional gender roles and advocating for greater opportunities for male dancers. His dynamic style and magnetic stage presence brought a new energy to classical ballet, attracting younger audiences and inspiring a fresh generation of dancers. Offstage, Nureyev was known for his flamboyant lifestyle and multifaceted personality. He had a passion for antiques and owned homes in several countries. Rudolf Nureyev's personal life was the subject of much speculation, though he later openly acknowledged his relationships with men. In 1983, he became the director of the Paris Opera Ballet, where he continued to break barriers and cultivate new talent. However, in the late 1980s, his health began to decline, and despite his illness, he kept working tirelessly, choreographing, directing, and even performing when he was able. Nureyev passed away on January 6, 1993, at the age of 54, due to complications related to AIDS. His death marked a tremendous loss for the world of ballet, but his profound influence on the art form and his impact on popular culture remain enduring legacies. Rock Hudson, born Roy Harold Scherer Jr. in 1925, was the quintessential Hollywood leading man. Standing at 6'5" inches with a striking appearance and commanding presence, Hudson seemed destined for stardom. His journey from a small-town boy in Waukegan, Illinois, to one of Hollywood's biggest stars is nothing short of a fairy tale. Hudson's career soared in the 1950s with films like Magnificent Obsession and All That Heaven Allows, where he became renowned for his versatility, excelling in both romantic comedies and dramatic roles. His performance in Giant, alongside Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean, earned him an Academy Award nomination, further cementing his place in Hollywood history. However, with fame came the intense pressure to uphold a certain public image, especially during an era when being openly gay could ruin a career. To protect his image, Hudson went to great lengths to hide his sexuality, In 1955, he married Phyllis Gates, the secretary of his agent Henry Wilson, in a marriage that lasted only 3 years, and was later revealed to be a sham orchestrated by Wilson to quell rumors about Hudson's sexual orientation. While Hudson maintained the facade of a heterosexual man in public, his private life in Hollywood was an open secret. He was known for hosting extravagant poolside parties at his Beverly Hills mansion, events that became legendary within the gay community. Hudson's career continued to flourish throughout the 1960s and 1970s. He made a successful transition to television with the series Macmillan and Wife, and later joined the cast of Dynasty, introducing him to a new generation of viewers. However, Hudson's life took a dramatic turn in 1984 when he was diagnosed with AIDS. Initially, he kept his illness private, but his physical appearance began to change noticeably, and speculation about his health grew. The truth came to light when he appeared frail and weak at a press event for Dynasty in July 1985. On July 25, 1985, Hudson's representative confirmed that he had AIDS, and the announcement sent shockwaves through both Hollywood and the nation. Hudson became the first major celebrity to publicly acknowledge having AIDS, bringing visibility to a disease that was still widely misunderstood and heavily stigmatized. In the final months of his life, Hudson's friends remained by his side. His Pillow Talk co-star, Doris Day, invited him to appear on her television show, which turned out to be his last public appearance. Rock Hudson passed away on October 2, 1985, at the age of 59. His death marked a pivotal moment in the public's awareness of AIDS. As actress Morgan Fairchild commented, Rock Hudson's passing put a face to AIDS, and his openness in his final months helped reduce the stigma surrounding the disease. It also ignited crucial conversations about HIV/AIDS and the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. Keith Haring was not just an artist, but a cultural icon whose influence continues to resonate today. Born in 1958 in Reading, Pennsylvania, Haring found his artistic voice in the dynamic street art scene of New York City during the 1980s. His distinctive style, marked by bold lines, bright colors, and energetic stylized figures, became synonymous with the pop art movement. He started his career by creating drawings on subway walls, using white chalk on empty advertising panels, which he transformed into public art galleries that engaged the city's commuters and passers-by. As Haring's fame grew, he became an outspoken advocate for social issues, particularly gay rights, and used his art to raise awareness about AIDS. His works often featured same-sex couples and powerfully critiqued stigma and discrimination. In 1987, Haring received the devastating diagnosis of being HIV positive. Rather than retreat, he channeled his energy into his work, establishing the Keith Haring Foundation to support AIDS organizations and children's programs. Through his art and activism, Haring became a symbol of resilience and a voice for marginalized communities. Haring's battle with AIDS was short-lived, and he passed away in 1990 at the age of 31. Despite his brief life, Haring left a lasting legacy in both art and social activism. His colorful murals and iconic imagery remain powerful symbols of love, unity, and the ongoing fight against HIV/AIDS. Thank you for watching. If you are fighting HIV or AIDS, this message is for you. We send you love from here.